best practice. That is one file will be representing only one class, and we'll be making that class as what public class, so that you can avoid naming conflict. I mean, it's not conflicts, naming differences between your class and your file name. Right. So this is what we have seen, but there are something to start with. So before, actually I should have given these statements before I wrote a first program. Okay. So is only the class is part of this file. So this is a file. One file can contain multiple classes that we have seen. For every class, there will be one dot class file generated with the name of what? File name. The dot class file generated with file name.
No, class name.
Class name, not with the file name. File name is for your purpose. Dot class file always generated with your class name, not with the file name. Okay. Okay. Now, can I write any other statements inside this file? Is it the only Java program I can write, or can I write some other statements inside a file? Right. So this is the source file, right? And Java source file has a structure, right? Java source file has a structure. Okay. So the structure of Java source file is like this. Space won't be sufficient today. Okay. So this is your .java file name, right? So file name .java. To avoid future confusions, we'll be taking class name and file name. Both are same, but it's not compulsory. Okay. Yeah, I'll increase it. Now, can I have some other portions, some other statements? Can I write any other statements apart from a class inside a file? Right. So a Java file is divided into what? Three major sections. Right. Three major sections you can have. The first section is always, right? No. What is that? We are not in PLSQL. We are in Java. We moved out from PLSQL, right? Declaration section is PLSQL program. So you have a first statements always called as what? Package section. So if you are writing something inside your Java file, it should have, it's not compulsory. This is optional section. The top of your file should be always package if you want to write. It should always start with what? A package section. Right? Which is optional. Then how many package statements I can have? Only one package statement for a file. Same concept, same like PLSQL. You can have PLSQL procedures and functions grouped into what? Packages. In Java also, we group these classes into what? Packages, though it is not compulsory to group the classes inside what? Packages, but if you want to group, the package statement must be what? The first statement in your file, and you are allowed to write only one package statement. You cannot write more than one. It is optional. Only one package statement. If you write more than one package statement, it leads to a compile time error. Okay. This is the first section of your Java source file. Now the second section, second statements of your Java source file, which are very important. And in real time, though package section is optional, but you don't see any classes without packages. That is a best practice again. Everyone creates the classes inside packages only. Everyone creates the classes inside packages. In real time, you don't see any class created without a package. Is always a best practice to follow, right? So though it is optional, so for our initial classes, we'll be not practicing this. We're not creating any packages for our initial classes, because if you create a package again you need to understand some other rules. I don't want to create now. The second section, which is import section. Import, again this is an optional section. Optional statements. Import statements are also optional statements. Importing is nothing but, so this is a very interesting statement you have. So when you are writing a logic, yesterday you have written prime logic or palindrome logic and all. It's easy to always, I need, as a programmer, do I need to write my logics? Is it always necessary as a programmer? Do I need to write the logics always of my own? No. If some other developer has already written some logic, you can reuse it. Reusability. It's not that you are going to always what? Write the logics for your application. If some other programmer has already written the logics, you can use them. Right? So to use others' logics, that program should be imported into your program. That other developer's program need to be imported into your program. That is where we use what? Import statements. Because that is written by some programmer. There is a different class. And you want to use that class inside your class. Now first you need to do what? You need to import it. So that is where the import section come into picture. Right? So it has a different meaning. We'll discuss more about import statements later. But at this moment, just importing some other classes where you can reuse the logics of what? Some other classes instead of you create them. So for which you need to import the classes. So how many classes you can import? N number, that's your choice. How many classes you want to import? You can import. Fine. So order must be the same. First comes always package statement, followed by what? Import statement. You cannot change this order. If you change this order, it leads to compile time errors. Always starts with package, then followed by what? Import. If there is no package statement, then you can start directly with what? Import statements. If there are no statements like this, no problem. Still, you can have your actual class. The third is your class. Is nothing but your actual program or logic, whatever you want to write. So this is how a source file. Apart from this, you can write other classes. Technically, you can say it as what? Main class. I am not giving that structure. Main class, which has what? Main method and all, followed by what? Other classes. But we are not following that standard, right? So anyway, it is possible, but we are not following this class, this style, right? So we'll be writing only one class for a file. So this is how you are structured. So anyway, first two are optional, and third is also not compulsory writing a Java program. Or you can just create a file with the name data Java, but no use. What is the use of creating that file with only .java without writing anything inside it? But still, it is a valid file. It's not for use. So I'll be making sure that inside a Java file, right? I hope you understand what is the difference between file name and class name. File is different, file name is different, and class name is different, right? So these are the three sections. Majorly, you can have package, import, and followed by what? Class, your actual program. So this is what is your structure. So yesterday I did not write package section and import section because I don't need to import anything into my basic program. Okay, so we'll talk about this package and import sections whenever time comes. It takes a lot of time to touch those topics. Anyway, we need to understand a lot more concepts before that. Okay, so we have written directly our main program and other classes yesterday, and as a best practice we decided not to go with what? Multiple classes inside the source file. Okay, so this is a very important structure of a Java program. This is also very important, right? You may get questions. These look very simple, but these are sometimes become what? Tricky questions. Right? Order must not be changed. The same order. Package followed by import followed by what? A class. We change the order, it leads to errors, compile time errors, right? You can try all of these things. When I say this is not possible, all your duty is to what? Test them. Change the order and test them and all. Just write. Anyway, this leads to compile time errors, right? So we use package keyword for creating a package. We use imports keyword for what? Creating a importing some other classes, right? So this is the structure of a Java source file, very important. And we have created a class without any package and any import statements, right? So I'm arranging my program into multiple lines like this. but it is not compulsory to write the Java program like this. You can write the Java program inside in a single line also, no problem. In a single line, you can write entire Java program, but which leads to what? Readability issues. It's not easy to do what? Read and understand. So if you want your programs to be read easily and understand easily, you must arrange your program into what? Multiple lines. So this is also best practice. These are all very simple things, but they are all part of what? Best practices. Arranging the code is also what? It's very important. Because in real time when you develop applications, you are not going to write, you won't be there till the application life cycle, right? You may switch the company, there may be some other programmer has to do what? Modifications to your program and all. So in that case, this formatting and all makes what? Lot of difference. Readability matters, right? Formatting of your code matters, indentation. These are all comes into picture when it comes to what real-time applications. So I suggest you to practice them from here itself. Arranging your code, right? Making your code much easy to read. I can write this program in a single line, but it's not that easy to read for you itself. And always you keep in your mind that your programs not, you are not writing the programs for yourself. You are writing the programs for what? Some other user, the one who is asking you to develop the application. And your programs also be in real time. You will be working in team environment. You are not working as individual. So in a team, everyone must understand your logics. There are a lot more things comes into picture anyway. So practice these things. These are all best practices. Practice these things, right? So there is a reason why I'm arranging my program into multiple lines and separated with what? Spaces and all, right? So wherever I'm opening, I'm closing the brace there like this. Okay. Now let's study this program. What are the different constructs we have inside this program? Building blocks technically, which is very important. So throughout these 4 months of course, you will be working with only these building blocks, right? So if I want to construct a building, there is a standard material we everyone uses, right? So bricks, sand, all these things, steel, right? Cement. These are all the standard material to construct anything. So whenever you want to construct a building, this is a material. Whenever you want to construct an electronic device, a different material. Mechanical device, different material. Material will be what? Fixed, standardized for any construction, right? So for Java programs also we have some standard constructs, building blocks. We'll be understanding. So anyone noted down some building blocks of a Java program? I told you to note down some if you can. They are not correct. Still tokens, I told you. Token is a token. So a Java program, not only here, any program, any structure is composed of what? Small pieces. Put together becomes a program. Anything, anywhere. So those small pieces technically we call as what? A token. A token is a small piece of a program. And we need to identify what are those small pieces here, which are put together makes this program. Okay, so anyone statements can be having so many tokens that becomes what? A statement. Mhm. Mhm. No, they are not tokens. Small piece of a program. Keywords is okay, acceptable. Uh, no, method is not a small piece. I'll tell you what is the meaning of small piece. A space itself is what? Is a small piece of this program. That is called as what? A token. A space is also playing a role here. You need to know where to put a space, where not to put a space. If I remove the space between public and class, this changes the meaning and it won't be compiled. That space is called as a token. Small piece. All right. So we'll start with the tokens now. As usual, the first token is a white space. The first token to construct a program, and these white spaces can be placed inside your program using a space bar or a tab space. Two, you can use tab space or you can use a space bar. So tab space means what? 4 spaces or 8 spaces. That depends on the system which you are using. You can configure it. Okay. Tab space. If you use a tab, the space is created with 4 or 8. That depends upon the system. Our space bar is the ultimate choice to use. Don't use tab spaces for indentation purpose, right? So there is a first token in your program. tab white space can be placed using what? Space bar or a tab space. Both are allowed. And the next very important, this is also a best practice in the industry, right? Most of the developers ignore it. Not only while learning, in the real time also most of the developers ignore this practice, right? Writing comments. Most of the developers ignore it, but this is one of the important practice. Writing a comments. Again, you should not write huge, vague comments for your classes, variables, and all. It should be small enough and easy to understand comments. So that when your program is given to someone, they don't need to understand your logic, complete program. If you have thousands of lines of program, by looking at the 1,000 lines, it's not the correct way. Small comments help them to understand much faster what exactly you are trying to write inside this program, right? So you have to write comments, right? So again, comments can be placed. Actually, I have given a source code structure, right? So in the source code structure, I'm adding one more called as what? Comments, right? So these comments can be placed. Without comments, again, you can create the class. But fifth, I'm writing comments. Okay, it's fine. If you have them, if you don't, again, I'm optional, but use it as a practice. They play a key role. Again, but if you write a code properly, most of the time we can avoid what? Comments. But your program should be created that way that by looking at the program name itself, someone must be able to understand. So in that cases, you can ignore what? Comments, but don't give big multiple lines of comments. One line comment is enough actually if you have if you want to put the comments, right? And what is the location of these comments? Inside the structure, I gave it as fifth point actually. They can go anywhere inside your program. Anywhere means on top of package, after imports, before class, after class, wherever you want to write, you can write comments. There is no special location for these comments inside a file. You can place anywhere in your file. They are for easy understanding purpose, right? So in Java, you have three type of comments. We call them as what? Single line comments. Single line are, it can also be called as inline comments, right? So the symbol we use for this is what? Two slashes together. This is called as what? Single line or inline comments. Whenever you use this, it becomes what? A comment. So I'm putting here. Now these comments are ignored by compiler. Any comment simply ignored by what? Compiler. Because comments are for human understanding purpose, not for execution purpose. These comments are not used by compilers, or these comments are not executed by your virtual machines. They are for understanding. So other programmer wants to understand your program, so these comments help them, right? The second type of comments we use in Java starts with what? It is a multi-line comment. It's a multi-line comment, and it starts with slash star and star slash. Multiple lines you can put inside what? Like this. Multiple lines you can write inside these comments. Starts with slash star, and you can have what? Multiple lines inside them. Okay. Any lines you can write. So if you want to make them a single line, you have to write what? For each line you need to write that comment. Multiple lines means you need to write only once, and you can place multiple lines inside it. This is called as multi-line comment. These are very common in all programming languages. All programming languages support your inline comments and multi-line comments. But Java has one special type of comment, which is the most important comment. What is it? Correct. Java documentation comment. It starts with the same symbol, but every line will have what? Start. Documentation comments are very useful. Very useful. Documentation type of comments we see.
Sir, Gautam here.
Hey Gautam, no problem.
Sir, I see your voice is breaking sometimes. I'm not sure about other users, how they're
Okay,
feeling
okay.
about your voice.
Let me confirm. Is it the same for others? Is my voice is not clear?
For me, it's clear, sir.
For me, it's clear.
So Germany has problem.
Okay. I rejoined multiple times, but
Here it's okay. They are saying, oh, there are 4 to 5 connected online over on like webinar.
yeah, I see that. I see them, sir. Yes. Okay, fine.
Maybe you need to change your bandwidth or something. I don't know. Is it very frequent or sometimes?
It was very frequent. Now it is fine. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. It's connected to correct network only. So these are the 3 type of comments you can have: inline, multi-line comment, and Java documentation. So what is this documentation comments? This is very important and interesting. We'll talk about this documentation type of comments later, right? So you are writing a program. In going forward, we'll be adding so many things inside your program. So how others are going to know about what are the different pieces you have inside your program? So we'll generate a document. We'll generate a document. So this document type of comments help you to generate that document, so that they don't need to go open your file. So your Java class will be there. For this Java class, there is a documentation created, so that they can read the document and they can understand what is the purpose of this program and all. So that such in such cases we'll create what documentation type of comments. So I prefer to have what documentation type of comments. Generally for some specific clients and all, you don't need to create them, but they are very much useful. We'll discuss them. What is the Java documentation type of comments, right? So these are the 3 type of comments you can place inside a Java program. Anywhere you can write. There is no special location inside a class, before methods, everywhere you can write. You need to choose which type of comment is best for writing a comment, right? So, but as I told you, most of the developers in real time, they ignore it. They give less weightage for comments, but not correct. It's always having at least single line of comment is always needed, right? So remember this. These are also best practice. Readability, arranging the code, writing the comments. These are all matter. And the third piece of this program, so we have seen white spaces. We have added what some comments inside this program. We can add actually here. So I want to add a comment here. I can write this is a main method. Okay, like this. You can add any comment. This is a single line or inline. Now the next very important piece of this program is very important things. We call them as identifiers. Identifiers. They are also play a vital role in every programming. Without identifiers, you cannot create anything. Identifier, the name itself says, the one which identifies. So these identifiers are used in various places of your program, right? So we use this identifier for various things. So this program is identified by this name, print message. This method is identified by name, main. So if you look at some other program which I have written yesterday, add numbers, I, J, K. These are the 3 names I used to identify 10, 20, and the result, some of this. So everywhere we use what? Identifiers. Names to identify a class, names to identify a package, name to identify a variable, name to identify a method, name to identify what interfaces. Like this, lot more areas we use what? Names to identify something. It can be a class, method, variable, or interface, a package, whatever. We use names only, right? So these names are called as what identifier, which identifies something. So are there any rules to create these names? Yes. What rules you have? Can someone list me all these rules? We'll add rules. There are rules to write these names. Okay, correct answer. Always these names in Java are case sensitive. Correct. That's the first rule. Means capital A is different to small a. That means here I have used what? Small I. But while I'm adding, if I use what? Capital I, it leads to an error. I cannot do that. Let's see if you want. I can show you that. So I should move to desktop. So how many of you able to compile and execute the programs yesterday? Everyone tried? No errors? Anyone left the programs if you by seeing what errors and all? You have to practice. Again, I'm repeating. Without practice, you cannot learn the subject. 80% subject is learned only through what? Practice, not listening to classes. I am 100% sure about it. After 1 week, if I ask all these rules, you will forget. Only the way you can remember is 80% of practice time. So my program name is add numbers.java. It shows you an error saying I is not a variable. I cannot find what I you are talking about. It's taking some time. See, it says what? I don't find I. What are you referring to me? Because this is not the I used in my program. I declared I with a small. This I both are different in Java programming. Case sensitivity is the first rule. Correct. Next rules quickly. Correct. So before we start with numbers and all, first what are the allowed characters? Say me what are the allowed characters as part of names? Only underscore. Dollar. First say me what are the allowed characters? Why are you thinking about special characters? Alphabets are allowed, numerics are allowed, and only two special characters, underscore and dollar. Dollar. These are the allowed characters. Alphabets, numerics 0 to 9, and two special characters in Java, underscore and dollar. Only these are allowed characters. You cannot write any other characters. If you create a name with using any other special character, it leads to what? Error. If you use plus, minus, star, divided by, percentile, these are all leads to what? Errors. Why? Because they are already having some meaning in the programming language. Plus is used for different purpose, minus is used for different purpose. So those special characters should not be there. Alphabets A to Z, small capital different again. You should be very careful. Small A to Z and capital A to Z, they are different. And 0 to 9 numbers, two special characters are underscore and dollar. None are allowed. So rest of all are not allowed. Next time you know what rules are still there. Someone told
does not contain any white spaces.
right, there is also a special character. White space is also a special character, right? And we in the special characters only two are allowed, underscore and dollar. If you want to write a point that's fine, you can write because there is also a special character. Space is also a character in programming. You write it. Space, they cannot be separated with spaces. That's fine. Next.
The name should not start with special characters.
No. That's what I told you. Two special characters. It can start with underscore and dollar. It should not start. Is it? Okay. I don't think. It should not start with number. I'm making it as what? Underscore I. I'm testing it. Let me see whether it is allowed or not. Fine. Special characters means what? Which special characters? Only two are allowed here. One is dollar and one is underscore. So it can start with this, but it should not start with a number. This is fine. Nothing wrong with this. Only two special characters allowed. It's fine. No problem. But if you try to write any other special character, it leads to an error. Anywhere, beginning or ending, in the middle, anywhere, they are not allowed. It should not start with a number. Okay. Any other rules? Quickly. Don't waste the time. These are all very basic stuff. You have learned all these things in your engineering. Case sensitive, load characters, white space. Okay, if you want to make a rule, you can make it. Should not start with numbers, correct? Any other? What? We have read, we have completed PLSQL. There also we have come across these rules. Again, it's a repetition. Quickly. Should not contain keywords. Name should not have reserved words. There are reserved words. You should not have a reserved word. Like here, class is a word which is used to define a class. I cannot use class for my variable, which is a predefined keyword, a reserved word we say. What we say it as reserved word. It is said as a reserved words in Java. So name should not start with a reserved word. It should not have reserved words. It should not be a reserved word. It should not have. That is wrong. Identifier should not be a reserved word. Any other rules?
Be noun.
That's fine. That is a very interesting point you raised. We'll talk about it. What is the meaning of it? No other points? That's it. Case sensitive, allowed characters should not start with number and should not be a reserved word. What is the length? Do we have any rule on length? How many number of characters should be there inside a name? There is no length limitation in Java. You can have as big name you want to create, you can create, but that is not a best practice. Because if you give a name so big, 50 characters name if you give, it is very difficult to what use. It's not recommended to give as big, but there is no limitation on the length. You can have as big length you want to have, but the best practice people tend to take max 30 characters, maximum 30 characters. But that is also a very big name actually. That should be avoided. So you keep the names less than 10. That is the best practice so that it is easy, because I am using I plus j here. I have to declare, if I have to declare it as what 30 characters, again I need to type all 30 characters here every time. It becomes what very tedious to type. It's not easy to type. That leads to what time taking process. So avoid taking big names, right? Again, this is not a rule. If I take 50 characters name, compiler does not say anything. These are all standards. If you follow the standards, your program writing becomes much easier to write. Case sensitivity is a rule, right? Allowed characters is a rule. You must follow them. And keywords usage is a rule, right? You must follow them. But these are standards. If you avoid them, nothing happens actually. There are no errors. But it makes your programming writing much complex for you. So, right? So there are some rules as it says. Whatever the names you take, always take the names which are readable. Meaningful names is a standard. If you don't take meaningful names, it leads to what? Some other problems in future. If I am having a program 1000 lines, if I take such names like this I, J, K, what happens? After 1000 lines, you don't understand what is the purpose of I here I have taken. So avoid such kind of no meaning names, the names which don't have meaning. So I will always take what? Meaningful names, right? So the meaningful names, so it's like this, value 1, right? So I'm just trying to convert them. Value 2, and this is of what? Something like this, total or sum. This is best practice again. It's not compulsory to take such kind of names, but it's always best practice. By looking at the name itself, you must be in a position to say what it is for. So I can create this program name with what? A. This is what most of the students do. But what is the meaning this A gives to you? What kind of logic is inside this program? Will you able to understand? Not forget about others. After like day after tomorrow, if you have to refer your programs, if you give such kind of names, will you able to find what kind of logic you have inside this program? It is valid, it compiles, it executes, but it will be difficult for you itself to identify what logic you have written in future. You have to open again what? The file, see, What is the logic you have written? It is time waste for you. So these small things makes lot of right. These small things makes what lot of advantages. They provide you lot of advantages while writing the programs. So whenever you write the programs, you should not concentrate current situation. You should always focus what in future how I am going to use it. So in future, if you want to use it, these small things makes what lot of differences. So always take meaningful names. Don't take A, B, C, D's and all those stuff. No, not recommended. Though it works, not recommended. These are all practices. So names should be always meaningful so that in future, so when I say value one also that's not meaningful actually, you can take something operand one, operand two like this so that they becomes what more meaningful. So by looking at this total, I can easily understand what is the total is containing. It is having some logic, right? So such kind of names you use always, meaningful names. So when I see logics, I never see logics first. I see always standards first. I don't want to break my head on what he's trying to write hand on. By looking at these simple names only, I must be able to get basic idea what exactly the programmer is trying to do inside this program. So you should give the preference to them, right? So meaningful names, readable names. Again, when I say meaningful names, it should not be very lengthy, right? More like 30 characters, 50 characters length. It should not be a story, right? Don't write like that. So meaningful short names are good practices, right? And try to take such names. Fine. So that is the one thing. So length is a standard. That's your choice. There is no limitation. Meaningful names always is the very important. Again, very important rule. If you can find, you find it. Because we use the names for different. We use the names for different blocks. Means different areas. So I'm using a class name. I'm using a variable name. We use what method names. We use package names. We use different names for different to recognize what different blocks of your code. Variable names are different. Variables are used for different purpose. Class name is different. Method name is what different. Package name is different. They have different usages. Is there any way to separate these names? Means what? By looking at the name, I must be able to say what? Oh, this is a class name. This is a method name. This is a variable name. This is the name for package. By is there any way to separate these names? There are standards again. There are standards. So someone by looking at your name, if someone from real-time expert who has worked for like 3 to 4 years, they can say by looking at the name whether it is a variable or whether it is a class name or whether it is a package name or it is a method name like this. They will be able to say that. So if you want that differentiation, there are standards defined in the industry. You can go Google it. You just Google it with what? Naming conventions in what? Java. You will get some conventions. There are rules. They are not rules. They are best practices. How to write a class name so that some other programmer can easily identify it. How to write a variable name so that some other programmer can easily identify it. There are rules. There are some rules for this names creation. Classes are always created with some format. Variables are always created with some format. Method names are created with some format. You write down those rules. It's not always writing the rules. Practicing is very important. I am practicing them here. If you look at my class name, I am following some standard there. If you look at a variable name, I am following some standard there. Right? So this matters in real time. So naming conventions for Java programs. As it says, where names always not be must be nouns, right? So some names, class names must be noun, method names must be verbs, variable names must be like this. You have some standards. You identify them. Where to use nouns, where to use verbs, and all. Right? So and put them in practice. So if you look at this program, by looking at the program or by looking at the file itself on the hard disk, someone can identify this. No need to open the logic. Do I need to open the logic now? Now by looking at this program, someone can, oh, this program contains adding numbers. I can create it with A. Then what is the problem? That is not easy to identify. Right? So these are all very important practices, right? While you copy some data into your hard disk also, will you keep random names? You are copying movies, you are copying some lot of stuff into your hard disk, right? Will you keep random names for your all the files which you maintain. Now you don't do that, right? You always give what? Some meaningful names which you can understand in the future. The same rules applicable here also, right? So those are identifiers. There are some rules, there are some best practices. Best practices makes your programming easier to maintain in future. Rules, you cannot avoid it. You must follow the rules, right? So is there any other rules we have apart from those four? Case sensitivity, allowed characters, should not start with number, should not be a reserved word. So what are the names? Can someone say me what are the names inside this program? Can you identify some names inside this program? Add number is one name, correct? Value one, value two, total. These are the three names, correct? Any other names? No? Right? So he's correct. System is a name. It's a class name. Predefined class name is a class in Java, which I did not create. It is existing with Java, right? String is also a name. Main is also a name. ARGS is also a name. Out is also a name. Println is also a name. These are all what? Various names used inside this. Now my question is it always should be ARGS only? Can I replace this name with A, B, C, D? Because a variable name, can I replace this with A, B, C, D? It should be always ARGS. It's a name, that's it. Simple question, can I replace that ARGS with A? Will it work or not? It won't work. It should be always ARGS, is it? Let's try this.
We can use but small letters.
Now you can have any letters.
Those are just
It's not ARGS, right? There is a standard people follows. Whenever someone sees ARGS, by default something strikes in some mind. But it is a name. Your choice. Whatever the name you want to give, you can give. But you cannot change what? String, it should be string only. This can be anything. It can be args, it can be A, B, C, D, whatever. It's not compulsory to have what? As a name. Same like IJK I have here. I change them to what? Value 1, value 2. Same we can change it. No problem. We can have anything here. Right? Names can be any choice. Your names, right? So this is not predefined. It should not be args always. It can be anything, right? Anyway, that's fine. So these are the names, rules, and all. Next, we'll come across next, what will you see here? Inside this, what are the other tokens? We have completed only two portions. One is the white space, the other one is what? Names. That's it. Lot more are there inside this group.
Constant package.
No. What other things you see inside this program? CSC guys. Public, static, void, main. What are they? Main is a name anyway. We have covered it already.
public is the access modifier.
Okay. Correct answer anyway. One word I want. Okay, I'll talk about some other. We have some operators. Operators. There are some operators in this program. So that is also, they also used to construct a program, operators. We have four category of operators. Four category of operators. Arithmetic operators, where you have place, minus, divided by, multiplication, percentile, right? A lot more. The second is you have what? Relational operators. Greater than, less than, equal, greater than, equal, equal. They're all relational operators. Logical operators, three you have. And or not. But in Java, how they are written? Two ampersands is for what? And. We don't use, right? So two ampersands is for and. This is what? And operator. This is or operator, pipe. And what is a not operator? This is not. You cannot use and or English, no English, all just symbols. two pipes. This is AND. We'll be discussing more about these operators. I need one entire session for discussing about operators only, because they are the very important. This is what, not, and or not. And bitwise operators, most of the time we don't use them in programming. You may get some questions in written tests. Bitwise operators. Bitwise and bitwise are left shift, right shift. Like this, you have some operators. They work on bits. Bitwise operators. Most of the time, we don't use them for programming. Bitwise. Arithmetic operators. Plus, minus, divided by, multiplication, percentile. You have so many. Plus equal, minus equal, multiplication equal. You write list of them. I'm not giving you. Relational also you have very big list. Assignment operator, not equal, greater than, less than, greater equal, lesser equal. These are all there. And logical operators and or not. Bitwise works on bits. Bitwise and bitwise are bitwise. What shift, left shift, right shift, like this you have operators, shift operators. They're all can't come under what, bitwise. Fine. So we have what operators we have used inside this program. Can anyone say me? Where are the operators we have? Huh?
Arithmetic operators.
Where? What is that?
Relational
Equal I have used.
operators.
Plus I have used. One more time here I am using plus. Plus is used for two purposes. One is for adding, arithmetic addition. The other one is for string concatenation. It has two different uses. Right? Plus is used for arithmetic addition and string concatenation. We'll talk about this later when I explain operators. Okay, any other operators? No. Operators are very key in any programming. They are the operators everywhere. Without operators, you cannot write any logic. They are used to process your data, right? Next, what do I see now? Operators are done. Next, what do you see there? Quickly, the fourth section of your program. No. Small tokens. System.out.println is a big statement. Small pieces. System is a name. We have completed that. I told you, system is a name. Out is a name. Println is a name. They are all identifiers. What other things you see? Semicolons, correct. They are called as separators. Separators. Only semicolons are separating? Are there any other things are there to separate? Huh? Speak out. Braces, correct. There are so many separators you see here. Each separator has a different meaning. By looking at the separator itself, you need to identify what exactly you are trying to do. If you look at the separators here, first starts with flower braces. Flower braces are used to identify scope, boundaries. So this flower brace open and flower brace close. After this, as I told you, rule 1, you cannot write any statement inside Java after program is closed. Let's say if I'm writing int x is equal to 100, I close my class, right? So they define some boundaries for your program. Scopes, technical term is what? Scopes. It says an error. You cannot write something outside of the class. It's an error. Everything must be inside a class, right? So these flower braces define some scope, limitations, right? And you have some special symbols, square braces. Always these are used to represent arrays in Java. Not only in Java, in any programming languages, in any programming language where we see square braces, they represent what? Arrays. There is a concept, we'll talk about it. Parentheses you have here. These parentheses are used whenever you see a parenthesis in Java, means they are always used with methods. Parentheses are used with methods. Always they come with what? Methods. There is no other area you use them. Like as you rightly said, semicolons, they are separation between what? Line to line, means statement to statement. This is the end of the statement. The new next statement is started. That is done through what? Semicolon. There are so many other, comma, dot. One more you have here, which is used to join two different things. Dot operator. It's actually an operator. It's not a separator. Is it operator or separator? It's not operator actually. It's not operator. It's not operating anything. Just it is combining two things. It's not operator. Any other? You can have commas, right?
Yes.
Dot is there. Semicolons are there. Float braces are there. Square braces are there. Parentheses are there. Like this, you may use some other separators. These are.
Data type also is there.
Yeah. I did not get you. Who is this?
Lavanya.
Same Lavanya.
Data types also is there.
Data types you are talking about, is it? Yes, correct. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see them. I'll give you big list is there, not only data types. Right, so any other? So we have come across these names are done. Separators are done inside this program. Space are done. Right. So many names we have. These three are done, I guess. Now next, identifiers are done. Operators are done. How many pieces we have covered? 5 pieces.
Yes, sir.
Is it 5 pieces? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Next. Next, what do you see? Next. Double quotes is a separator. It actually represents what? String. It's also a separator, which is separating something. You have big list. I'm not giving all the separators. You just go through what. There is a complete reference book. This maybe first chapter itself. They are there in the complete reference book. So my flow will be based on what? My teaching flow will be complete reference flow. I follow that complete reference book for explaining the concepts. Completely the complete reference, step by step, page by page. I will discuss that book only. If you want reference, you can use that book as what? Reference, complete reference. Java complete reference. Okay. Are there any other? No, you don't find them there anyway. So there are operators given there. It's okay. Yeah. Next. Quickly. You don't see any other? Int, right? So we don't see them as int, public, static. They all come under reserved words. What we call them as reserved words. It's a big list. So if you want to expertise in Java, you have to understand only these reserved words. If you know each meaning of each reserved word, you are done with what? Java syntax. Then applying the logic is your job. So totally there are how many reserved words we have? 53 as of Java 8. In next versions, if there are they have added new, you have to find them. 53 as of Java 8, right? Reserved words we say. I have to recollect now. I also forgot what are those 53, but I'll try to recollect. Again, there are categories you have. Reserved words, you have reserved words. The two categories are right. Keywords. Again, under keywords, maybe the names are not as same, but most of the time you can use. There are unused keywords also. Used keywords, unused. Means they are reserved. Means they want to give some meaning for them, but they did not provide any meaning yet. Unused keywords. And we have literals also. Should I? Okay. Keywords, right? So here unused we'll separate it. Keywords, literals. I'll tell you what is the meaning of literals. Keywords for literals, keywords for some other purpose. Okay. And we'll make here unused keywords. Here we'll write unused. How many are unused? They are there. And as I told you one rule, you are not going to use these reserved words for your variable names means identifiers technically you are not going to use. Total 53 you have. So if you learn this 53, you are done with what? Programming. Anyway, right? I'm not giving you this list. I'll give you now in a short moment. So which are unused in Java? There is CONST, which is unused. There is one more actually. I'll give you keyword literals. There is one more. I'll tell you what is that. True, false, null. These are the three keyword literals. Total you have three. Unused keywords, constant, and the second one is go to. This is unused. So you should be very careful here. You are not going to use them as your identifiers, names for your blocks. And rest of all fall under what? Used keywords. How many we'll have? 48, is it? Rest will be 48. Now learning this 48 is your Java program. Keyword literals, true, false, null, unused keywords go to, and make one very important point, how to identify them, because we have a rule, case sensitivity rule, how to identify which is capital, which is small. All keywords always will be what? Small, no starts with. It's all small letters only. Public, static, void, class, here are the keywords in your program. Public is all small, right? So if you change the case, they become what? Names, identifier. If you change the case, they become what? Identifiers. Okay. So now this 48 can be separated into what? This 48 can be separated into various categories. The rest of the 48 can be separated into what? Various categories. And you can, by looking at the category name, you can identify what is the purpose of them. The first category, keywords used for data types. First category, keywords for data types. Let us list them using categories only. So how many you have? Keywords used for data types, you have 8. Right, we'll write in order. Keywords used for data types. Byte, short, there is order. You remember in this order, because this order matters. Int, long, right? These are for integral, float. Okay, I'll be writing in multiple lines because we have different categories. Float, comma, double, all small letters. While you write also, you mention them in what? Small letters. If I make float F capital, the meaning changes. Should be very careful. It's not typing. Char, char is one data type, and the last data type is what? Boolean. 8. Keywords used for data types are reserved words used for what? Data type. You have total 8. Remember the number. This is very important. So what next? Keywords. Keywords used for control statements. Same. Keywords used for control statements. Right. If, when you say if, followed with what? Else. That is the first. Right. Next, after if, what is the next? Control statement. No. 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 Else if there is no. There. No. Almost similar to if. What is that? Switch. Cases are in PLSQL. Here we call as what? Switch. Case. What is third one? No, they are fine. And there is no end. No break. What is the keyword for
Default.
default? Correct. This is what you have. So these three are used for switch cases. Break is not part of switch cases. That is different. Next now, semi. Next, loop. What are those? Do is a keyword. While is a keyword. For is a keyword. Correct. What other you have? Three more.
Continue.
Jumping. We say branching statements, or we say what? Jumping statements. Three more we have. Continue. Correct. What are the other two? Break. Correct. Last one. No. Return. There is no exit. Exit in PLSQL. So how many we have total? 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3, 8 plus 3, 11 control flow statements you have. If else, conditional statements. Right? Conditional statements. Again, you can categorize them. Conditional statements, loops, and iterative statements, and jumping or branching statements. Again, you can categorize them under control. So without these control statements, you don't see any programming. So total you have 11. Just I want to get the count correct. Next, what I'm having, so right, keywords for access modifiers. Again, they are categorized into two categories. Access modifiers. Okay, let me write non access modifiers. You have three here. Access modifiers. Private. Order is matter for me. Protected. Protected. Spelling. Okay. Public. Okay. So what are non-access modifiers?
Default.
No, default is a modifier which we have here. That is where the confusion. There is no keyword for what? Access modifier. Default is there, but there is no keyword to represent it. So what does the default mean? If you don't use any modifier, if you don't use any access modifier, that becomes a default. But it's not a keyword. Keyword is used for in switch cases, and in Java 8, this default is used in some other case. That's given a different meaning in Java 8 default. Okay. So non-access modifiers is a big list you have, and very important list. Maybe big means close to 5, no, 7 to 8 are there. Abstract, final, static. These are the very three commonly used non-access modifiers. Very commonly used non-access modifiers. Abstract, final, and static. The other are native, right? Strict, FP, right? And what other? Volatile. And the very important is synchronized. Synchronized is very important for interview purpose. For interview purpose, synchronized is very important. Actually, abstract, final, static, synchronized. These are the four very important. How many total we have?
7.
One more is missing actually. One more is missing. Total 11 should be there. 3 plus abstract, final, static, native, strict, FP, volatile, synchronized, and one is used in serialization. Transient. The last one is what? Transient. Total 11 you have. Access modifiers and non-access modifier. So in the non-access modifier category, abstract, final, static, synchronized. They are very important. Total, so we have how many here? 11 in this category. So how many we left with? 18. We left with still more 18. 11 plus 11, 21. 22 plus 8, 30 are done. 18.
Right.
Okay. Keywords used for class level. When I say classes, it can be class or interfaces, right? Keywords used for classes. The first keyword. Tell me what is the first keyword for class? Class itself is the keyword. Small c. Again, when you write it as a capital C, the meaning changes. When you write it as capital C, the meaning changes. Class. Next. Interface, correct? Interface. Next.
Okay.
Package, correct? Very good. Import, correct? Very good.
Constant.
No. Constant is non-used keyword. Here you have written unused keyword. It's not used. Right, I'll give you one or there are two more. New keyword. New keyword. Yes, super. Someone is saying that is correct. This, comma, super. This keyword is there as well as what? Super keyword is there. Any other? Class interface, package import, new. This one more you have. It's actually a operator. It's actually a operator, but you can take it. Instance of. It's actually a operator, but it is also a reserved word. Instance of one word. Okay. How many we have now? These are 8. 10 more. Okay. Now, as someone told, keywords used for exceptions. Keywords used for what? Exceptions. You have 6 here actually. Try, catch, finally, throw, throws. Okay, only 5. Strict FE introduced in which version of Java? Someone told it. 1.2. Strict FE, this is a one. This non-access modifier is introduced in 1.2 of Java. Strict FE. Yesterday someone told it actually. It's not from 1.0. Strict FE is from 1.2. So how many total we left with now? 5 more. So what are those keywords which I missed? Right, correct. So keyword is used for testing. There's a keyword used for what? Testing. That is asset. Keyword used for return type. Keyword used for what? Return type. What is this? Yeah, what is the keyword which is used for return type? Void is a keyword which is used for return type. There is one more keyword to declare what? Constants in Java, that is enum, which is introduced in Java 1.5. Asset is used for testing purpose. Return type is void. Enum is a keyword which is used for 1.5. So these are the 3. There are 2 missing. So is it including constants? Okay, 48, right? 8 plus 30. 38 plus 5 plus 3, 46. There is not a keyword. Testing purpose set white enum 0.5 introduced interface class interface package import new this super instance of exceptions try catch finally throw and throws. Data types are fine, control statements are fine, access modifiers are fine. Class level, I think I missed one or two. Yes, I missed one or two in the class level. Now extends and there are two keywords. Extends, comma, implements. I missed here. So this is a categorization of your keywords, and they should not. They all appear in what? They all appear in small letters, and you get this is the standard. Total is 53. Categorized it what? Used keywords, unused keywords, keyword literals. There are 10 in the classes section. Extends and implements. Fine, matching. And this is the list I have given as of what? Java 8. If the new version they have added new keywords, note down which version, which keyword. So there are two keywords. FP is 1.2, enum is 1.5. Rest all are from old Java introduced, and these are not. But at the same time, you cannot use them for your names. CONST and go to two keywords. You cannot use them for your programming. Names for your programs. I think we have covered all 53. Yeah, those are all 53. You can have an image here, but we have categorized them anyway. Is how you find, but this is the category. Used keywords, unused keywords, literals. Order is here and there. That's fine. You can change the order. Fine. Yeah, this is the order, actually correct order. Constant and go to. It's CONST. And here we have 48. Total 53. Okay. And this is a chart. If you want, you can find this chart. This is JavaScript, not Java. Okay, so this is you can actually I gave you again. That's fine. Okay. You rearrange it. I gave you reversely. Unused should come here. Literal should go here. Fine. And if you learn this 50 through 50 out of 52, you are not going to learn what? 53, you are not going to learn anything about these two. There is no meaning for them. If you learn the remaining 51, that's it, your Java programming. So we will use this in constructing the Java program. And this is the sixth one. Okay. Semi, what other we have inside this program? Now we covered all the keyword, space, keyword, name, separator. Again, keywords. These three are keywords again. Method name and separators names like this. You have separators. Any other we missed? Everything is covered. Name only. That is identifier. Quickly say me. Don't waste the time. No. That is the very important piece of this program, which is still there in your program. You can see that. What exactly we missed?
Main method.
There is a method name. There is not a token. I'm talking about only tokens which we missed out. Print is a method name.
Plus operator.
String is a name. Braces is what? Square brace is the operator. Args is again a name. Means str is a name again.
Double quotation.
Is also a separator. Static is what? Static is what? Which did I give? Static. No, I did not give static. What is static? Non-access modifier. I gave already. Just now I gave it. It's there in non-access modifier. I told you three very important. Abstract, final, static. I repeated thrice. No one is focused. Everyone is focused on writing. That is not important. You can write them later. You can sit peacefully. You take pen, paper. You try to write on your own. That gives you more knowledge. When I'm discussing, if you forget something, sit properly, recollect all the session, write down the missing points. That gives you more knowledge. While discussing, only focus on what? Class, not on the writing. Writing, what will you get? Yeah, any other thing which I'm missing? Anyone? Online? There are 5 joined online, okay? So today we have total full strength of this batch. No absentees. This is your batchmates. These are your batchmates, full strength. Yeah, online, anyone which we miss anything? Inside this program, did we miss anything? No one find? What did we miss? Huh? System is a name, class name.
Plus, before total plus operator.
You are saying. Answer is there in your answer itself is there in your question. Operator you are saying. I covered operators also. I did not cover operators, but I told you to write a list of other operators. I just gave you overview. That is very important for me. Okay. The backbone for this entire program, which is the key for writing this program is, and my favorite, without them there is no program. What is the use of this program without that 10, 20? It's not declaration. 10, 20, not assignment is operator. Those are called as data. Without writing a program is only 2 things. Data, taking the data and what? Processing the data. Processing the data is nothing but we process the data with the help of what? Operators. You take some operators to process your data. But there is no data, there is no. If there is no data, there is no program. What is the purpose of writing a program if you don't have something to process? So program is nothing but statements. Group of statements. What is the purpose of writing group of statements? What they do? They technically process the data. Without data, there is no meaning of writing a program. So the data is the key here. And we'll be starting our discussion from what? Data. So technically, we call them as 7th piece, which is very important. We call them as what? Literals. Literals is nothing but the data which you use inside your program. So here 10, 20, these are the 2 values I used inside this program. They are called as what? Literals. Very, very important. So whenever you start developing any application, first you need to have a clear understanding about what exactly the data you are having and how to process. Processing is the next level logic. But if you don't have clarity on data, then there is no meaning of writing a logic on the data. In the database also there is a fundamental. If you have data, then you write what? Some statements to process the data, insert, delete, update, select, whatever. So data here we call is what? Literals. Literals, right? So there is a backbone. So from here we'll start with our actual programming language learning, because this is a key. Without this, you don't have no use of programming, right? So they are categorized. Literals technically are constants, means the values will not be modified. So value 1 is a name given to what? This. 10 never be modified. What will be modified? This value 1, the value which is stored inside what? This name will be modified. If I change value 1 to here, so when I write value 1, again when I write value 1 is equal to what? Some 30. What is changed? The value inside this is pointing to what? Different number, but 10 is not changed to what? 30. So these are literals are called as what? Constants in a program. 10. 10 is a constant at a given point of time. It's always what? 10. Right? When you assign something itself, the 10 won't change. Value 1, the value 1 is changing to what? 30, right? So they are called as literals. We have category of these literals. What are the categories we have? Anyone? Integral literals. These are nothing new. In your real life, whatever the data we use, the same data we use in what? Programming also. And in your real life also, we categorize them into what? Numerics, alphabets, floating points, like this. The same categories we have here also. Nothing new. Right? So you should not see them as separate things. If you see them, you start seeing them separate things, you're out of subject. It's difficult for you to what learn. Whatever we see in real life, the same thing we are going to use here. Floating point literals is the second category you have. And third you have is character literals. And the fourth, which we don't use in real life very often, but it's there in programming, we call them as what? Boolean literals. They are used for decision making. So can anyone say example of integer literal? Hear me, Jyoti?
We can't see the screen.
I can't hear you.
I mean, your voice is breaking either.
Can you type something?
It's breaking, sir.
For everyone, is my voice is breaking?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Your voice.
Yeah, same I see here. Your voice also breaking actually. If I join, I think this broadcast get over. Recording will stop. What is the issue?
Now it is fine.
If I switch the network
Go
also,
ahead.
now it is fine. Anyway, I'm going to conclude this session in just 5 minutes. I'm done for today's session. So examples, negative numbers to what? Positive numbers, anything you can take. Example I'm giving. But anyway, we'll have a discussion on them. Anything negative, positive. Floating points, precision values. Again, negative, positive. So unlike C programming language, you don't have any signed and unsigned characters here. There is no signed and unsigned. In C kind of language, you should write what? Unsigned and signed. Two different type of characters. There is a differentiation. Here in Java, there is no differentiation. Everything is what we can consider, right? So there is no unsigned integer in the list. Whatever I gave you, I did not give you unsigned int, signed int like this. All are integers. It may be negative number. It may be what? Positive number. It's only same data type we use. Okay. Next, again, these are floating points. Starts from like this. Again, plus minus. Characters, alphabets, single letters. Strings are, I did not give string literals here. I did not give string literals because strings are separate in Java. But if you want to write, you can write. Boolean, yes. You have only two values in Boolean. If you look at the chart which I have given, keyword as well as what? Literals. What does it mean? The literals is nothing but the data. So these two are used as what? These three technically used as values, and they're also what? Keywords, both. They act like keywords as well as values, right? So there are two, true and false. We'll talk about this chart. I'll give you one big chart for all these things. Lot more to understand about these literals. Right. So this is where we'll be starting our programming. First, always priority should be to data. If you don't know what is the input you are taking, you cannot process it. You must be very clear what exactly the input you are taking, how to process that input. Whatever the logic you write, prime, factorial, whatever, you must know what exactly the input you are going to take to process. The data is the key for any programming language. And next is writing the logic on the data, nothing but processing it. Now, if you know this, if you practice these two things, that is what your programming is, right? So we'll start with this data, literals, integral, floating point, character, and boolean. There are a lot more things to be discussed about what these literals. As it is seen here as examples, it's not that easy to understand. You have a lot more things to understand about what literals, especially in Java. There are different ways to write these literals. Different ways to write these literals, right? So they can be promoted, right? We'll talk all of them, how to write different ways to literals, how to create what variables, then how to do what typecastings between this data, right? There are typecastings you have, right? Different type of literals you have, right? So we'll understand all those things. So if you can do it, you are going to learn all of these things. Every literal is assigned to what? Some data type. There are ranges to discuss. There are memories to discuss. There is typecasting to discuss. There are default values to understand. Lot more things. Tomorrow we'll conclude all these literals. Then we'll see operators, then control statements, right? So, but you find more information about what these literals. I have given you what is the range of this literal. Not you identify which literals for which category of literals, which data types we use. For integral literals, what are the data types are used? For floating point literals, what are the data types are used? For character literals, what is the data type we use? For boolean literal, what is the data type we use? We are using data, but data should be stored in somewhere. And what is the, once you have identified what are the data types used, then how to represent these literals itself in Java. There are different ways to represent these literals, different ways. Example, you can represent this data in what? Let's say if I talk about integral literals, you can write integral literals in decimal format. You can write them in octal format. You can write them in hexadecimal format as well. You can write them in binary format also. Only integral literals. So whatever I have given here is a decimal format, we say. The same 1000 can be written in what? If you know simple math, you may see all these things. This 1000 can be represented in different formats. Hexadecimal, you can write the 1000. Octal format, you can write what? 1000. Binary format also, you can write what? 1000. Java supports all four. But for programming purpose, for easiest purpose, we use what? Decimal format, because this we have habituated to use. We can add the same 1000 in octal. You take some numbers, you find what is the octal equal to that number 1000 itself. You take what is the binary equivalent to this 1000, what is the octal equivalent to what? This 1000, and what is hexadecimal equivalent to what? The same 1000. You have some formulas to convert it into what? Java supports all of them, right? And the same character literals, how to represent. There is no other way of writing booleans. In some other programming languages, you write these booleans in what? They provide you a way to write them in zeros and ones. But in Java, there is no zeros, ones. This is strictly what? True or false. That's it. Only two. There are no zeros, there are no ones represented for this. So that is where Java is strictly typed language. You have to use them exactly where you have to use. No other alternates, right? So anyway, we'll continue this session tomorrow with these literals. We'll spend some time to understand these literals. Very key for programming. Before that, you try to solve some kind of small mathematics questions, very small 10th class maths or right 10th class maths, 7th class maths, like what speed, right, distance calculation, speed, distance, time calculations, or some kind of interest rates calculations, aptitude, solve some questions. We'll take some examples and we'll see how can you connect it to what programming. Okay. So I think this is done. These are all what tokens inside what Java program. I feel they are very important because you don't know, if you don't know what are the various pieces you need to construct something, definitely you cannot construct it. Same, right? So in real time also, if you want to construct a room, first you think about what its design and what are the different raw material I need to construct that. So these are all the raw material kind of thing which help you to what construct a Java program. So 7 sections. Without this, you don't see anything inside Java program. Some valid combinations you have, some invalid combinations you have. That we will understand with practice, which is correct combination to use, which piece can use with what piece, which are not used along with that, right? Fine. So I'm stopping the session. If you have any questions, you can ask.
No problem.
No? Okay. Fine then. So tomorrow we'll meet now.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye bye, sir.